how to manufacture this part by using the Fusion software by using manufacturing. So this is the part which has been already modeled. Now I want to go for a setup. Click on setup. Then now here, the first thing is what I want is the work coordinate system setting. The orientation is on the model. Okay. Now by default, it is at the top. Yes. Then the origin point is the stock box point. So now if you click on this side, the front view, you can see this, whatever you have this yellow and with the snapping points, those are all stock box point. But since the stock is to be removed, so then the origin point of the stock will going to be removed the moment when we start machining it. So always you do remember that the origin point should always be the part. So for that, you just come down to this and click on model box point and observe these snapping points, what will going to happen. Automatically, the stocking points or the snapping points will shift to this gray part. Whatever you have this in the gray part is the one which is actually the part of snapping points. So if you go to the 3 dimension, you will be able to see which are all the snapping points. So I want to take the top lower left corner here. You just click on this. So the origin point is shifted to the model box point, which is at the lower left corner, at the top portion. Always you do remember that the origin point should be at the top surface of the model. And once you do that, now you just come down to the stock. So here in the stock, since the mode is relative, that is with reference to this, with reference to the model part, I want to give the dimensions. So I will go for the stock side offset. I will going to take this as 5 mm. On this side, you observe. So on the left side, it is taken 5, and similarly on the right side also, it is taken 5. Then I want to give the stock top offset as 5 mm. So it will go to take on the top offset also in the 5. And in the bottom offset, I will going to take it as 20. So because I need the part to be clamped in the beginning. So that is the reason why you are giving the more material at the bottom. And these are the stock dimensions of the overall dimension of the stock after giving the stock offsets. Once you do that, then you just click on OK now. So this is the first setup of your model. The moment when you do that, the next point is I want to go for the operation. So what operation I want to do in the beginning, what I need is I want to remove 5 mm on the top surface of the model. So to do that, so first I will go for 2D on facing operation. And this here, the moment when you go for the stock offset, this stock offset is always depends upon the what is the raw material which is available in your shop floor. Based on that, which will going to be done. Or else, if it is not there, if it is inevitable, if you want to take the material from outside, yes, you can purchase that. And the main intention of showing all these things, that is basically because I can add the stock material to the part which is already having the finished sizes. To that, I am using the raw material. So once you select the facing operation, so I want to remove the top surface, which is of 5 mm. So to remove that, first I need to go for selecting the tool. You just go to the select. The moment when you click on the select, you will going to get the tool library dialog box here. I want to go for milling tool matrix. So click on the milling tool matrix. Then what happens? All the milling tool metric systems, which are the cutters which are available in your tool library, will going to be listed. So in this, which is the one I want to select the face milling cutter. So this becomes very cumbersome because you have a lot of cutters here. I want to select which is the one I need to be in search of that. In order to avoid that, you have a filter here. So the tool category is milling. So you come down to face mill. You just click on this face mill, enable it. So only which are all the milling cutters of the face mill which is available in the library, that will going to be listed here. You just click on the milling tool and you just click on this select now. The moment when you do that, the cutter will going to appear on your screen. So then I need to set the cutting parameters. So here, always any cutter will always have the preset values which is already set in the library. But depending upon the raw material, depending upon the cutter, what type of cutter you are using, and all these parameters will going to be considered now. So to do that, so first I will go for the spindle speed. Instead of giving 5000, I will take 2000 RPM. So always the surface speed is given in meter per minute. So the moment when the RPM is given, automatically it converts this into meter per minute. Always you do remember that the surface speed is always given in meter per minute. Then I want to give the cutting feed rate. That means what should be the feed rate? That is, what should be the distance traveled by the job per minute? So that is the cutting feed rate. Since during the cutting operation, the job has to move slowly. So I, instead of taking 1000 mm per minute, I will take 100 mm per minute. Then lead in feed rate, that is before cutting, how the tool should approach, at what speed the tool should approach to the cutter or to approach the job, which will be 100 meters per minute. Then after cutting, the tool has to leave the job by giving more. I will take 150. And all other dimensions, you take it as the default. Then you come down to the geometry. So select this as the stock selection, that is automatically it is considered. So we need not have to take it out. You just click on the heights of the cutter. So these are the reference planes where you want this cutter. So here the bottom height is the model top. Yes, till there I need to remove the material. Top height is now which is at the stock top. Yes, this is the top. This is the bottom. This is the top offset. Then after that, the feed height is top height. This is the feed height. Then feed height is the top height. Then retract height is stock top. So this is the stock top. So that is this one is the stock top. Retract height. Instead of taking the stock top, I will go for feed height. So the moment when you set your, this will going to be the feed height. That is the retract height. And then the clearance height is from the retract height. That is this one. So once you do that, so now we have all these settings. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the references which you want to do it. So once you do that, now I will go for the finishing passes. So we don't give any finishing passes and there is no roughing and finishing for my this entire program. So I will just come down to the multiple depths. So minimum step down is, since I want since you have the stock to be removed from 5 mm stock, I need to remove from the top. So the maximum step over, that is the depth of cut, what I am trying to give here. So you can see specify maximum step down between two levels for roughing, or you can do even for the operation for finishing. So since I'm taking directly the finishing part of this, so you give enable multiple depth and give the maximum step down as 1. And I will just click on OK. So now the first part of the machining phase is over. So once you do that, now I will going to try to check whether it has taken or not. You just go to the simulation and now you reduce the speed of the simulation and you just click on this. So now you are operating this on both the ways of the cutting operation. That means while going on forward and also return, both will going to have the cutting operations. So you just go to the statistics. So what is the machining time? The machining time it will going to take, the facing operation will be done in 25 minutes 51 seconds. The machining distance is 2.747 meters. So this is how all the data which will be given to you. So once this you are satisfied, you just go to exit simulation. Since you have the cutting operation is done on both the sides, I will just go to edit, which is operation I want to do now. You just come down to heights or to the passes. So here the direction of cutting is on both the ways. So that is where it will enable this. And I will just click on OK now. So once you do that, now we will go for the second operation where I want to do the 2D contouring. So to do that, I will just go to 2D and click on the contour. So now for 2D contouring, we will not be using the facing tool. Instead, we will going to use the end mill. So what is the advantage of using the end mill? Because the end mill, even on the periphery of the diameter of the end mill, the cutting takes place. So that is the advantage. So you'll just go to select. So in the previous library, I mean, the first one with the tool which we have selected is the facing mill operation. Now we want to go for milling tool matrix. Now you come down to flat end mill. You just enable this by using the filters. And we have the different types of flat end mills which are available here. I will going to consider. Take about 10 flat end mill. You just click on this 10 flat end mill and you just click on this select now. Once you do that, again, you will going to have the cutting speed parameters of this. So this has to be considered based on the raw material to be machined, and also based on the tool material which you are using. Suppose for a mild steel, we will be going to use HSS. Suppose if you have an EN19 material, wherein the material hardness at the beginning in the soft itself is around 45 HRC. So that becomes is not possible for HSS to operate or HSS to cut the job. So in that case, we will go for the carbide. So, but that also based depending upon the programmer's experience and all. And these cutting speeds and these parameters which will be given in the catalog for that particular cutting cutting tools which we are using. So based on that, we will going to be considered. So now I'm going to give again it is 2000 RPM, and then the cutting feed rate I want it at 100. Then I want lead in feed rate is 100 and the lead out feed out is 50. So then you come down to the geometry. You just click on this chain. You click on this bottom chain, and then I will click on OK. Then once you do that, now you come down to the heights. So the moment when you come down to the heights, you can see here, bottom height is the selected contour, which we have selected from here. And then the top height is from the stock top. Since you don't have the stock top now, you come down to the model top. Observe here what happens. The moment when you click on this model top will come here. So then what is the feed height? Feed height is from the top height. This is the feed height. From the top height, it should be from the top height. That is from here, which will be 5 mm. So then retract height is from feed height. Yes, from feed height it is there. Then similarly, the retract height, then the clearance height, that is this one, is from the retract height. From this height, this distance is 10 mm. So once you do that, so here the bottom height is the selected contour, top height is the model top, that is this one. Then feed height is top height, that is this one. Feed height is this one. And then the retract height is from feed height, that is this one is the retract height. And similarly, the clearance height is from retract height. So that is this distance. So from this distance to this is 10, from this distance to this is 5, and from this to this is 5. Okay. Once you do that, now we will come down to the finishing passes. Here, I don't have any roughing as I told in the beginning of my lecture here. So I will just enable the multiple depths. So here the maximum roughing depth, every time I want to remove by 2 mm depth of material. So you just click on this and you just click on this. Now we don't want to select stock to live and all those things. That is only when we are considering is on both roughing and the finishing operations. You just click on OK now. So once you do that, now the finishing operation, now the operation is done here. So now we are not getting any errors, but the moment when you click on this and go for simulate, now you can see there are errors is 60. So why that error we will go to see now. You just click on this point. Now in the beginning there is no error. That is basically because the tool is moving, contouring the profile in this particular fashion. But as the depth of cut is increased from 0 to till to 55 mm, so now here the cutting is the tool holder is touching the job. So that is the reason why you have this particular red mark. So I want to avoid that. So I will just go for the exit simulation. And now again, I will go back to the 2D contour, right click on that, and then go to edit now. Once you go for the edit, then you come down directly to the cutter. You just go to the edit of that particular cutter now. So here, go to the cutter. So now you change the overall length. The length can be changed depending upon the tool which is available in your shop floor, and or depending upon the geometry which will going to be given by the catalog of the cutting tool catalog box you have to change that. So here the shaft diameter is 10, that will be considered. Then the overall length, this is the overall length of the cutter. I will take the length of the end mill as 100 or 90 I will take. So once you take that length below the holder, I will take 70 mm, that is below the holder, because the remaining things I need to clamp it in the tool holder. So I will take the length as 70. Then the shoulder length, I will going to take it as 60. This is the shoulder length. Then from here, the flute length will going to be 50. Okay. Once you do that, now you just click on OK now. Then again, I will go to the same thing. Okay. So once you have changed this, the rest of the things I will going to take care as it is, and I will click on OK now. Now we will go for 2D contour, and then you just go to simulate now. So see whether any errors are there, no issues are found. So now it runs smoothly now. So this is how you will be able to rectify the problems whenever you are encountered during the programming. So one should do that. The next part is I want to, so this is the contouring of the job. So one should do that. Now we will go for the next operation. So the next operation is I want to remove this. So for that, I will go for pocketing 2D pocket. So again, you go to the select, take the same flat end mill, click on this flat end mill, click on select. Then I want to select the speed as 2000. Then I want to take the feed rate as 100. And from here it is 150. Okay. Then you come down to the geometry. The moment when you want to geometry, since it is a 2D pocketing, you just click on this, select the surface on this face. Okay. And then I will click on OK. Again, you go for 2D pocketing on this side, select it on this side now, and click on OK now. So we have 2D pockets. Then once you do that, now you come down to the heights. So once you come down to the height, so here the bottom height is the selected contour. Then the top height is the stock top, that is go to the model top. Then the feed height is from the top height, yes. Then retract height is from feed height, yes. Then the clearance height is from the retract height. So now the condition is the bottom height is the selected contour here, which is the removing of pocket. Then the top height is the model top. So this will going to become the top height. Then this is the feed height. Then this is the retract height. And then this is the clearance height. Once you do that, now you come down to the passes. Now you come down to the multiple depths. So every time how much I want to remove the material. Since from here to here it is 41, that is the total depth. That is 55 minus 14, which is the 41. So every time if I want to remove 1 mm material, then it becomes too large. Then you just click on this and you make it 3 mm, or you just take it 2 mm, so that it will reduce the finishing step down and all those things. So now we don't have anything to stock to leave. I will disable it. So okay. So I'm just finishing directly here, and then you just click on OK now. So once you do that, Now we have the operation is completed in both the sides. Now we want to go for the simulation. You just go to simulate and you click on this side and no issues are found. You just click on this side. Now we are removing the material from the sides. So this is what now we have this portion. So we are doing this body pocketing. Okay. So after this, now we are going to remove this exit simulation now. Now we want to do this particular portion, which is the filleting operation. We'll just click on this. Now for that, I will go for 2D contouring. You just click on this. Now I want to go for the selection. So for that, I will have to go for ball end mill. So I will just go to the uh, whole milling matrix. Then you come down to ball end mill. Select on 12 mm ball end mill. Yes, 12 ball mill. So now I will just go to select. Once you do that, now we have this operation. In this, I want to take 2000 RPM. Then I will reduce this to 100. Again, lead out feed rate is 150. Okay. Then come down to the geometry. So now what I'm doing is I'm selecting this geometry for the time being. Okay. And then click on OK. Similarly on this side, sorry, 1 minute. I will just go to 2D contour and just go to edit. And similarly, I want to come down to this geometry and you click on this side down. Okay. Yes. Click on OK. Now you go to the 3 dimension. Okay. Now you come down to the heights. So the moment when you come down to heights, so now you can see bottom height is the selected contour. The top height is again go to the model top. Then the feed height is the top height. Then retract height is from feed height. Then the clearance height. So here the bottom height is the selected contour is this one. Then top height is the model top, that is this one. Then the feed height is this point, this line. Then the retract height is this line. And then the clearance height is this. Once you do that, now you want to go for the multiple paths. So I want every time I want to remove 2 mm and then you just come down to this and then click on OK now. So once you do that, now the cutting operation has been done now. So again, I will go for the 2D contour, go to simulate. So now we want to give this removing of the material now. You just come down to this. So now it is initially, it is cutting here. So the problem will start only when the tool holder and comes and touches here to the top surface of the part. So this is where the clash will going to happen, wherein the tool holder will comes and hits the job. So that is the one where I need to change this. So to adjust this, I will again go for the 2D contour, then click on edit. Okay. Now you come down to the edit of this. That is, I want to edit the tool now, the cutter. So the overall length of the cutter, I am going to take it as 90 mm. Okay. Then I want the length below holder, I will going to consider it as 70. Okay. Then the shoulder length, I will going to take it 60. Then I want to take the float length as 50. Okay. Then I will say OK now. So now I will say click on OK now. So now we go for the simulation now. So this part has been removed. So I'll go for the checking of this. Again, go to simulate. Now there is no issues found, and I will just go to this, and now it will start removing the material. A little bit faster now. So this is removed here, and similarly on this side. But now the problem will be that even though you are removing the material, and this amount of material is left out. Why that is happening? That is basically because the moment when you go for exit simulation, you click on here. We have taken this as the 2D contour. So that is the reason why the tool goes there and stops. But I want the tool to be cutting here also. So for that, I'll just go to 2D contour and then go to edit. So you come down to the heights. Then the moment when you want to go for the bottom height, instead of selecting the selected contour, go to selection, click on this surface and also on this surface, both. Okay, click on OK now. Now you just go to 2D contour and then you just go to the simulation part. Now you just remove this. Now you can see the entire portion has been removed. So this is how you will be able to rectify this particular position. So this is the one part of our program. So this is over. Now you go for exit simulation. So the next thing is I want to remove this particular portion. So to do that, I will go for 3D. Okay, you just click on this. So go to 2D contour. Yes. Now I want to take the tapered end mill. You just click on this selection of the tool, come down to milling tools. Then you go to tapered mill, enable this. Then I want tapered mill of, I will take, these are the standard tapered mills which are available. And I will go for so here I will go for tapered mill of 8 mm diameter. Then I will just click on select. Okay. Now I will reduce the speeds again 2000. Then from this you make it 100. Then on this side I will take feed height as 150. Then you come down to the geometry. Click on this side. Select on this open. Select on this one. Okay. Click on select on this chain. Okay. Click on OK. Then come down to this pass. Sorry, come down to this. So the bottom height is the selected contour. The top height is stock top. Okay. So you go to the model top. Stock top is the top height is I want to selection from here. You just click on this. Okay. Then the feed height is from the top height. It is 5 mm. Then the retract height is from feed height. Yes. Then the clearance height is from the retract height. Now, if you do like this, then what happens is the object will going to be here. See how it will going to functions now. Then you come down to the passes. Then I will go for the multiple depths and I will take just 2 mm on one side. Okay. You just remove this portion here. Okay. Then you click on OK now. So now we have the three-dimensional part. Now, if you try to simulate this, you just go to simulate. Now, if you try to remove it, now here, the tool will going to remove the material. But this angle is not achieved. That is basically because I need to give the angle there. So to do that, I will go to edit tool. Now you come down to edit, come down to cutter, go to cutter. Here the taper angle, you take it as 30 degrees. Okay. Then I click on OK. Now you just take the same thing again. Now you go for edit, simulate. Now you do the same operation again. So it is removing here. So it is going extra now. I will give for exit simulation, and you come down to this, go to edit, make this angle, sorry, edit as instead of 30, you make it 60 degree. So go to cutter, make this as 16 degree. Okay, click on OK now. Now you just click on OK. So now it will be able to remove this material. So now you go to simulate and then cut this operation. So you will be able to get this. So now you come down to exit simulation. So this portion is over. Now we want to go for the another operation again on this side. So go to 2D contouring. Now you go to select. Then you come down to 16 degree tapered. You just click on this, click on select now. Then select this as 2000 RPM. Then you reduce it to 100. Then I want the lead out feed rate is 150. Okay. Then once you do that, come down to the geometry. Then you go to the chain, click on open chain, and then you come down to this side. Okay. Click on this one. Okay. Then you come down to the heights. So selected contour, bottom height. Then top height is the selection of this one. Sorry. Top height is the selection of this. Okay. Then feed height is from top height. Retract height is from feed height. Then the clearance height is from retract height. Then you go to the passes, go to multiple depths, take it every time it want to remove the 2 mm material. So once you do that, now I will just click on OK now. Okay. So now I will just go to the finishing operation. Okay. So now what I will do, I will go from this entire setup and I will go to simulate now. See, is there any issues? So now if you do that, but there is finding some errors here. That is basically because if that is being the case, then I cannot be able to do like this. But instead, what I wanted to do is on this side. Okay. Okay. So this portion is over, but the problem is with this. So we cannot do that particular option. So what I will just go to 2D contour and then go to edit. So here, go to the geometry. Yes, fine. So the moment when you go for the selected contour, then the top height, it is not from the, you just take the model top now. That is inevitable. So all other things you take it as it is. You just click on OK now. Similarly, come down to the 2D contour, then come down to edit, and you come down to this geometry, that is height. Then go to the selection as top height or the model top. Then the rest of the things which are going to be considered here. So you just click on OK. Now, if you just apply this and go to simulate, so you will not be able to see any changes here. So the verification with no issues, but only the problem if I do like that is on this side. That is, I will show you that. So the moment when you do that, so here you are coming and getting this. So the reference is from the previously it was very fast. Now here the problem is with this is here there is no cutting, but still you have to do that. That is the reason why I was telling this is lot of non-cutting operation will going to be taken place. So the moment when you go to this, again it moves back and it will start cutting here. So this is inevitable for us. So that was the reason why the moment when you take only from here, immediately the cutter moves to that. So instead it should go to that point. That is the reason why I've taken a new cutter, but still it is following the same thing. So we cannot avoid that. Now we will go for the removing of this oblong slot. So for that, I will go for 2D slot. Click on that. So what is the radius of that? The radius of this is 5. So I will go to select. Now I will go to metric, take ball and mill. Okay. Then I want the cutter to be of radius 5. So take 10 mm ball and mill. Okay. Then you just click on select. Then take 2000 RPM. Okay. Then similarly, you take 100. Then I want this has to be 150. Okay. Lead out feed rate. Then you come down to the heights. Okay. So here the selected contour is 1 minute. I want to go to the geometry. I want to select this one now first. I want to select this portion. Okay. Then I will click on OK. So again, I will select this portion. Again, I will go for select, go to the chain, click on this one. Okay. Click on OK. So then you go to the heights. Here you come down to the 3 dimension and go to this stop top. Now what I want is I want from the bottom. So you go to selection, click on this side. Okay. Click on this face. Okay. That is the top height. And similarly on this side. Okay. Then go to feed height is from top height. Then retract height is from top height. That is from feed height. Then the clearance height is from the retract height. Then go to passes. Here I'll go for multiple depths. You take 1 mm. Yes. Then you just click on OK now. So now here it is cutting, but still it is showing some, there is some problem in the error. You just click on this. So it is cutting here. Then again, it is cutting in this side only. So now the problem, there are two types of problems which we are facing here. So I'll go for the exit simulation, go to slot, go to edit. So come down to the edit tool. Then here, go to the cutter. Then change the cutter overall length is to be 90. Then length below holder, you take 70. Then you go to the shoulder length as 60. Okay. Then you take this length as to be 50. Okay. Click on OK now. Now we will try to finish it. Let us see what happens now. So you will just go to, again, you have the same problem. So I will go to simulate. So you have only one, this thing. Now we have the cutting here. So that is not to be considered. Again, you go to the slot, go to edit. So you come down to the heights. Then you bottom height is okay, selected contour. Then the top height is don't go for the selection. You just come down to the model top. Okay. Then everything remains the same. And in the selected contour, you just give -5 or -3. Okay. Click on OK on this side. Okay. Now, so now we go for slot, go to simulate. No issues will be found now. You just come down to this. So the only problem is again, it is moving from the top. So that is the only issue which we are considering now. So again, I will just go to that and start removing the material here. So this is inevitable for us. So then, and we have removed this. Then I'll go for exit simulation. Now we want to go for the 2D contouring now. In this case, now I want to remove this material now. So to do that, again, I will go for 2D facing. Then I want to take the end mill, select on this, come down to milling tool, matrix. So take the flat end mill, then go for 10 mm, click on this, take 2000 RPM, then take 100, then you take 150, then you come down to the geometry, select on this, click on open, click on this side, click on OK. Then you come down to this side, OK. Click on chain, select on open, select on this side, click on OK. Then you come down to the heights. So model top, bottom height is for, so you just come down to this and come down to the flat. OK. Now we want, OK, bottom height is the selected contour. Bottom height is the selected contour. Then top height is the model top. Then the feed height. Then feed height is from the feed height. Then you come down to the passes. Okay. Go to multiple depths of cuts, 1 mm. Yes. Then I want to go for the step over here. Where is that step over both the sides? Okay. Then I want to come down to passes is already there. Okay. Okay now. So once you do that, you click on OK. Now it will remove this material now. So one the problem is I go to simulate. Then I will just come down to this. Oh, it's removing from this side. Okay. I might have made some mistake here. Oh, it has gone to the facing. You just go to delete now. Just go to delete. Then you come down to 2D contour. Select 2D contour. Yeah. Go to select. Click on flatten mill. Sorry. Yeah. Flatten mill. Come down to flatten mill of diameter 10. Go to select. Then take 2000 RPM. Then you take 100. Then you take lead out feed rate is 150. Okay. Then come down to geometry. Select on this. Click on open. Select on this side. Click on OK. Then you come down to this side. Then click on this side now. Open. Then click on OK. Now you go to 3D. So now we have the simulation part. Then you just click on this side. So it is removing on this side now. So just go to the exit simulation. Go to 2D contour. Come down to edit. Then come down to the passes. Then go for multiple depths. Take 2 mm cut. Then I'll go for roughing step over. So maximum height is 9 point. I will take 8. So here I want this passes to be a number of step overs is 2. Okay. Then I will just click on this and then I will say OK now. So now it will be able to remove the material, but still you have one more. So go to edit. So you come down to passes. Make the roughing passes to be 3 now here. Step overs is 3 and then you just click on OK now. Now it will remove the entire thing now. Yeah, you just go to 2D contour. So go to simulate. Now you can see this, it will be removing the part here. So here you can see, but still there are some thing which we are not understanding. That is the basically, if you go to 2D contour and go to edit, then you come down to the heights. So bottom height is selected contour. The top height is should be model top you consider. Okay. And then the retract height is from feed height. Okay. Then click on OK now. Now it will give the exact simulation. Yeah. Now if you click on this side, now it will remove the material perfectly. So now this is the statistics of 36 minutes which are going to be considered for machining now. So again, I will go for 2D contour, the next one. Then I want to go for select, that is the flattened mill. Go to select. So take 10 mm flattened mill, yes. Click on select. Then come down to this 2000 RPM. Then you come down to 100 mm feed rate. Then you take lead out feed rate is 150. Then you come down to geometry. Click on this side, go to select on open chain on this side. Okay. Then you come down to this side. Okay. Click on this side. Go to open, select on this side. Okay. So first one I need to select. Okay. Then you go to select again, you click on this side. Okay. Then come down to heights. So take the selected contour. Then the top height is the model top. Then go to the feed height as top height, the retract height as feed height. Then you just click on passes. Okay. Then go to the roughing passes. Similarly, you make this as okay. Number of step overs you take as 3, and then go to multiple depths. You make it as 1 mm. Okay. Then click on OK now. So now we have the cutting operation of this. So now I will go for simulate. Now you go from the setup, you do this, go to simulate. Okay. So then you go for these operations. Okay. So this is how we will be able to get this up to a certain extent. Now we have completed almost everything on this operation. The rest of the thing is only to create these holes now in this setup. This is the machining operations what we are happening. Okay. So then the next thing is I want to do the deep hole drilling. So to do that, so first we will consider yes. Similarly on this side, these two are inevitable like this. You can't help it. Yes. The one way is you can think of is only for this 2D contour. Go to edit. Okay. So come down to this heights. So selected contour is this. Okay. Then instead of top height, you take a model top. You just go for selection and you select this portion here. Okay. Then the rest of the things will going to remain the same. See the difference now. If I want to go for simulate on this side, just go to simulate this, only that portion. Okay. You just click on this side. So it will remove only that particular portion. Yeah. So this is over now. Now the next thing is I want to do the drilling operation of these two. So to do that, I will go for drilling. Okay. Now first I want to make this spot drill. You just go to the select. Now we don't want it to do the milling tool, come down to hole making tool matrix. Then I want to go for drill. You just go to the spot drill. So you take a 5 mm spot drill and you just click on select, then change the speed to 2000. Okay. Then you let it be plunging feed rate and all those things, or I will take it, the plunge feed rate, I will take 200, or you take 150, take 133 mm per minute. Okay. Then you come down to geometry, you select it on this one, and also you select it on this one. Then you come down to heights. So now, once you are coming to the height, now we are at this point. So here, the spot drill is done only from the bottom height. No, you take from the whole top. Okay, give the distance here. You take around 5 mm here. So what is that 5? I want to give -5. Let us see. Yes, -5. You make it -4. Okay. Then top height is the whole top. Feed height is from the top height. Then retract height is from feed height. Okay. Then the clearance height. Then you come down to passes. Don't go for drilling rapid. Come down to deep drill. Then you take 2 mm. Okay. And the pecking depth and pecking this one. Okay. You just click on this. Okay. Now we have these two. So here you just go to deep drilling, go to simulate, reduce the speed, and you come down to this. So these two holes are drilled. So again, I'll go for simulate. So this is how it will going to remove this. Then you go for exit simulation. Now I want to do the drilling operation, which is 10.5 hole. So to do that, again, you go for click outside, go to drilling, go to drilling operation. Now you go to select and you go for hole making tools. Come down to drill now. Come down to drill and you give 10.5 mm drill. So because that is the standard which we are using it, so you just go to the drill 10.5, you just select it. So then I want to reduce the speed, I will take 2000. Then always the plunge feed rate, it will automatically, it will reduces. Yes. So you make it 100. Then you come down to geometry, select on this and you select on this. Then you come down to heights. Okay. So from here, the whole bottom you give -3 because that I want to remove the material. Even once you remove that, it should be through and through. Okay. Then the top height is the whole top. Then the feed height is from whole top. Feed height is from top height. Yes, you click on that. Then retract height is from feed height. Then the rest of the things will be considered. Then you go to the process, go to deep drilling, full retract. What is that? Deep drilling, full retract, full retract. Okay. Yes. Then you give 3 mm depth and retract is also from 3 mm. So I will just click on OK now. So these two operations have been done now. So again, you go to the simulate on this side. So now you just click on this. So now the drilling operation is considered now on this side. So I will increase the depth so that it will going to remove the material. So you just come down to this. So now the first setup of all the drawings have been completed. Now you go to the setup, go to simulate. Now we start doing the operation now. This is for the first setup now. So the first one is the facing. Then the second one is the 2D contour. Then I want to go for the third one, the pocketing on this side. and then on the other side, then you have the filleting operation, and again on this side, then I want to have the contouring. This is the slotting. Again, you have the contouring on this side. Then you have this undercut. So these are the deep drilling operations. Now you go for the total machining time for the first setup is 13 hours 21 minutes 18 seconds. I'll just come out of this and I will going to save this particular drawing. So this is how you will be able to create the first setup of a manufacturing part of the body. In the next setup, we will go for how to do this contouring of this semicircle here. Okay.